Well, so in general, what I would like everybody to know about a mental health condition is that based on the recent statistics, just in North America, 1 out of every 5 adults encounters one of these conditions during the course of their lifetime. So it's extremely common for any one of us to feel, any spectrum of these mental health conditions, no matter how well things are going in our life and how rich you are, or it doesn't really matter. And what I can also say is that there's not a agreed upon understanding where the medical community knows exactly what is the root cause. All we know is that people experience it. And it's a mental health condition, much like diabetes or high blood pressure, so it can be treated. And we have medical options to treat these conditions as well.
What I would like people to know about mental illness or addiction is that these are not some crazy things that make people so different. These are basic things that happen, emotional, mental things that everybody experiences in littler ways. For people with mental illness or addiction, they happen in bigger ways, but the core experience is very much universal. So to me, we're just talking about different points on the same spectrum everybody lives on. So to me, we're kind of all the same in that way. But I realize that not everybody sees it that way. I do.
What I'd like people to know about, mental illness is that it doesn't define who you are. A diagnosis doesn't define the person that you are.
People should know that addiction, it looks different for everybody. And sometimes people in addiction don't know what the solution is, or they do and they're too afraid to do it. Addiction is a very personal thing, and people don't often think about it like that.
What I would like people to know about depression and anxiety is that it's not the end of the world, that you can live and thrive through it, but it does take work. It does take a village. You need your professional support, your non-professional support, like your family members or friends or whomever you decide. Maybe it's a teacher, because I have teachers that are supportive of me, that know about my diagnoses.
But all in all, the next 29 years of drug use and hurting myself did not come at a very easy price. I wish I would have been able to manage and to cope with everyday life at a very young age and had younger successes. I know what it's like to be successful now and to live without the use of the cravings of drugs and alcohol, but I know now, I really wish I would have skipped that part. But in skipping that part, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk today. So those experiences were valuable for our communities.
I think that if we can look at people not as the things that the choices they made or the decisions or the things they suffered from, if we could look at them like, oh, this is a human being who could use an extra bit of love and support. Maybe I'm the problem for today, because my own judgments and my own, my own thinking that I have conformed in my mind towards people that don't operate or look the way I think they should look or respond the way I think they should respond. I think people, for me, when I'm teased about being sensitive, it's mighty interesting, that I can be teased about the very same thing people want to come and lean on me.
Having a mental health issue does not make you a bad person. Having a mental health issue and an eating disorder make you a regular person who just has some issues that they need to work out, who needs to talk with somebody, seek help, seek guidance when you need it. And actually having a mental health issue kind of makes you normal, quote unquote normal, because we all have issues that we need to deal with.
I wish that people knew that it really is a disease, and after somebody is hooked, they don't have a choice, and that they're not using because they don't love someone. You know, many times I've heard people say, or they've said to me, you know, if you really loved me, you'd stop. It has nothing to do with people on the outside of that person who is going through alcoholism or addiction. It really has to do with some struggle that's happening with them internally, and no amount of love or no amount of money that you throw at the problem is really going to fix it. It, in many cases, really has to run its course, and sometimes that's going to be a solution that has nothing to do with the people that love them. It's going to be just a place when the alcoholic or addict gets sick and tired of being sick and tired in a lot of ways, which I know can be really scary for those that love folks.
I think, you know, I said this before, but I think that the one thing that I think is important for people that don't experience this stuff to know is that it can be really scary. It can be really scary to feel out of control and to feel like your brain is doing things that you don't understand, and to feel like you have no control over what's going on in your head and in your world. And so, you know, to have, for people to, you know, just be aware of that.
I've been diagnosed with bipolar for a long time. I was diagnosed as a maladjusted adolescent. I was misdiagnosed as schizophrenic. I have been diagnosed and diagnosed, but the one that is in my chart, in my health chart, is bipolar. I think if people understood the bipolar is very high and very low, it's easier to understand the frenzy. It's not always easy to understand how quickly the frenzy collapses. So I think if you're trying to understand bipolar illness, it is important to understand that the highs will go low, the lows will go high, and it can happen in the twinkle of an eye. Be with it, work through it. It can level out.